All right. You should have gotten an email this evening with an updated schedule, and the main thing that has changed is on the day of the performance. The schedule is different. You arrive at 11:45. Oops, let me get this in. And get into your costumes, and then we have a photographer there, and we'll do a run through so that the photographer can do that, and also it will get you sharp just before the thing starts. 1 o'clock, the artist will get a break, can just relax. Hi, Clarice. And then at 2 o'clock we start. 1:30 will be a sound check. And then we'll start it promptly at 2. Are there any questions about all that? Okay. Also, apparently they're going to have the costumes over there by Thursday. If that turns out to be the case, you'll be able to choose your costume and put your name on it then, and we don't have to wait until Saturday for it. Terry will help you. She's been wonderful to help with the costumes. Hopefully they will be on a rolling rack on hangers. And there will be some black ones and some white ones for the women. And you have black ones for the men, Charles. You'll be able to choose as long as something is there. But if you come a little late in the game, then you probably find that you have less choice than the earlier time. Any questions about that? That's about the only other logistical thing. I'm sorry that some of the people are not here yet, because I really want to mention that we don't have any flexibility in changing the rehearsal times. We are very lucky to get rehearsal time in St. Paul's. And in fact, this was negotiated last December. So suggestions that we change the rehearsal times to noon to 5 or something like that. No, we can't do that. That's not available. And if you knew you were going to have trouble with the times as set, that was sent out in January. That would be the time to raise those questions. So if you have a problem, a couple of you have written that you are probably not going to be able to do the full rehearsal physically. That goes on for so long, although there's going to be a big lunch break in the middle of that. Stay there. That doesn't mean you go home. That means you stay and watch. Everybody is supposed to be there during the time we rehearse. And if certainly don't want you to hurt yourself or to do anything that's going to be a problem for your body, but I do expect you to be there. So this is not fair to Tony if you don't stay there for the whole rehearsal time. It's a very short time. This is an experimental idea to do the preliminary rehearsals online and then to do just the last ones in person. And it gives us the flexibility to have more people included. But if that doesn't work, if it just falls apart, then we won't be able to do it that way. My plan for next year, depending on what we end up doing, is to have some performances online and to make those, oops, let me let somebody else in. The plan for next year is to have 2 kinds of performances, one of which would be similar to this and would involve much fewer rehearsals in person. So those I would expect the people who want to dance in them to make a commitment at the beginning and keep the commitment. Even if a wonderful dinner comes up or if you're asked to host a party or whatever, no, you need to either do it or not do it for those. Then we'll have some performances that will be virtual. I'll have more rehearsals for those. It'll be more flexible. You'll be able to go in and out as you need, and I'll choreograph them much more simply. but I need the people who do the more elaborate choreography to be there at all the rehearsals. Okay, I didn't ask that this time, and I'm not asking it now, but I am telling you that that will be what we will do for the more elaborate things next year. For those of you who are not in New York or not in the New York area, we'll figure it out. We may have 2 sets of in-person rehearsals, one wherever you are and one where we are. But it's getting to be too loose. Okay. Anybody with any questions about that? Again, I don't want anybody doing anything that's going to hurt the body or put stress on the body, but I do expect you to be at rehearsals. Watch when you can't dance, and then dance when you can. Everybody got it? Any questions? Any objections you want to raise?
It's not
yeah, Deb?
It's not an objection or anything, but I know we can't get there till just after, I think it's after lunch.
I know.
Okay.
And there's going to be a lunch break on Thursday, so
Okay.
hopefully you'll be able to get there for the second half of the thing. There's also someone else who is out of the country and will have to come in. Those 2 things just came up, and so that's perfectly acceptable. But those things we have to plan for and not have them come up just when we're doing them. You know, Tony is doing a big favor. I don't know if you're aware of the fact that she started the movement choir. We started it together, but she had it as a concept before I ever even came to Trinity 15 years ago. So the fact that she is now retiring from her job at LaGuardia and has time to come back is wonderful. It's enabling us because I can't get into the city. It costs $400 with a wheelchair. Not happening. So I would like to be sure that she's treated with respect and that the time she's putting in to come back is a good time where you're really getting juicy stuff done and it's exciting to work together. So I know that I'm talking to the wrong people when I say these things because it's the ones who are not here that I should be talking to. But I will make it clear. This is not punitive. This is just in order to get a dance together, there has to be a certain amount of dedicated rehearsal. And I have to know that people are going to be there unless something bad happens. Yeah, Charles.
On the Friday that's there, in the middle of the day, I'm supposed to be on a Zoom call, so I don't know if I can still.
I already told you you could. Yeah,
okay,
remember?
Okay, I didn't know. Yeah, okay. I forgot I told you
before. I'm not concerned about you. You are the most dedicated guy, and you work around a very tough schedule, and I really appreciate your dedication.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I just did. And I'll be back. I'll be back and.
Oh, I know, and that's fine. If we can talk later if you want. The internet connection there, I can find out what it is. If you want to take your Zoom thing in St. Paul's.
We'll talk about it. We'll see.
We'll talk about it. However you want to run it, we can. But I don't know the password, but I can get it.
Okay, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll talk. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right. Terry raised a very good and useful. I thought I had a recording going here. I do. Yeah, it's not on my computer. Terry raised the question about we need a rack for the costumes. I think they're on one. If not, I've sent a note to Mel asking that they take some a dozen hangers from some of the other ones and put them on a rolling rack so that they can be available. I'm going to send Terry some pins, which you may or may not need to put your name tags on your one. The only reason we're even reserving them ahead is because the lengths are different. And I don't want anybody having one that's an inch too long and you stumble all over the stage. Okay, I don't think that's going to be a problem, but let's keep, there will be enough glitches without us making any glitches. So if what Mel said is the case and they bring the costumes over on the Wednesday before, then maybe you'll be able to pick your costumes out on Thursday and we'll have that out of the way. If not, Friday or whatever. Terry?
I'm late. I work on on Thursday, so that I won't be able to do all of what you're asking.
Oh, okay. So we'll plan that on Friday.
Friday or Saturday, whatever you want, but not
Yeah,
Thursday.
I'd rather say Friday because then if something goes wrong, we have another day to finagle. I don't trust anything. And that brings me to another question. Do any of you have speakers, Bluetooth speakers? Yeah, would you bring yours? I don't trust that the one from Trinity is not going to break down there. And if it broke down, we would have nothing to dance to on Thursday, Friday. And I know you won't be there at the beginning of Thursday. If you've got a Bluetooth speaker and it's small enough to comfortably bring, please bring it.
I have it from teaching, so I'll just be having it. So I'll bring it.
That will be great. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And if anybody thinks of anything else that could go wrong, please bring it up because it probably will. And that brings me to my last general statement. If you make a mistake in the dance, I have never yet seen any professional dance performance that didn't have at least 3 mistakes in it. So please don't get bent out of shape if you feel you did something wrong, but keep it in the dance. Don't stop and go, oh my God. You know, that's the one dead giveaway, right? I've talked to Tony about whether she wants to give you an hour or an hour and a half at lunch, because I know you have to go and get it and then eat it. I don't think there are going to be any problem about eating it in St. Paul's if you want to. They're being very accommodating, and they even suggested that they will cordon off our rehearsal area, which will be from the altar to the seats, even though we will use the aisle to come up for the beginning and the end. That will make it a little bit more comfortable. There won't be so many people crawling around taking pictures. And speaking of taking pictures, Mel thinks there's going to be a photographer there on the day. And so we'll do that run through before the performance, and the photographer will take pictures then, so they can do it without getting in front of the audience. That will be wonderful if it's true, but if you know somebody who's going to be there, ask them to take pictures. I trust nothing. Yes, hi, Terry.
So when we rehearsed with the drummers before, we were facing a different direction. Now we're going to be in front of the altar now. Is that where we're dancing?
Yeah, you are. Where were you dancing? It looked like you were on that end of the church.
We were facing the width of the space rather than the length.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had another question, but I can't think of. Oh, is it possible for you to do a Zoom thing, and one of us could bring our laptop and just join, and you could record it? You can't do that?
I can't.
When we dance on Saturday at least?
Yeah, no, I don't think we can do that. Setting up a Zoom thing in St. Paul's is so difficult that they're not even doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, unfortunately. I would love that. And maybe somebody who comes will put it on a phone. I'm just gratified that they're going to send a professional photographer, because we weren't supposed to even get that. You can't imagine how much is going on in the arts at Trinity. The last week I looked, there were 7 things, including Carnegie Hall and a whole bunch of other things. The amount of stuff they're doing is so huge that getting a piece of the pie is a political act. One of the things I'm hoping to do for next year is to get the coordinators of the events at Trinity behind us, so that they do the work for that, so that they, Mel is an angel, but she must have 5,000 emails a day. We need someone to make sure that we get as much of the juice as possible. And this Eventbrite listing is really big, because not everybody's getting that, and we are. Yeah. Questions and problems. I want to get on to the dance, but
Want to talk about shoes at all, or did you do that?
No, anybody can wear any shoes they want. I tried for 3 years to get this group to wear a uniform set of shoes, which I bought for them, and it never worked for 5 minutes. So those of you who want to be barefoot, be barefoot. Those of you who want to wear shoes, wear your shoes. Please don't wear anything wild like bright red boots, though, okay? Questions? Hey, you can name it. It has cropped up in the last 12 years. All right, my loves, we better start dancing. What I would like to do tonight is what we've been doing, go through the whole thing, but I want to add one element, and that's the element of longing, of desire. The feeling you get when you join with others, when you actually awaken to others, is so wonderful. Whether it's being in the audience of a concert or being at a rally or whatever, when you join with others, other people, other animals. I just saw a wonderful thing on Facebook of people embracing every kind of animal you could possibly imagine. And, when it was over, I felt terrible because it was over. So that kind of longing for union, for awakening, for being one with what's around you, if we can establish it strongly enough, we'll leave them longing for it when they leave. And hopefully that will lead to action because we need it. Right? So I would like you to be conscious of that when you have united with and awakened to the people around you who are of your own ethnic or national group. I would like it to have that quality of yearning. When you are looking for your relationship with God, I would like you to have that kind of desire of openness and I don't even know what the words are not enough. Most of them sound like human love, but it's much bigger than that. When you experience it, it's unmistakable. And we only get it for little bits of time, most of us, whether it's in prayer, in arts, in a joined purpose, whatever, that feeling that you belong to a part of a whole and that together you can do whatever needs to be done. That's where we're headed. So please bring that into your dance as you go from one group to another. Okay? Okay, here we go. Let me start you up. You are already up there with the holy, 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 and you have your back to the audience. And Carlos will sound the shofar. Okay, here we go. Boom. Bow. That was so well done that I'm scared. I don't want you to peek and then go down. That was really, really, really well done. Had some fabulous moments in it. I won't keep you extra. Let me end the thing. But thank you very much. Your hearts were in it and it came through gorgeously. Yeah. Love you. You are the best. I'll see you on Friday.